Hi, I'm Adam Lantheaume from The Boston Shaker, thebostonshaker.com, and we're here at Grand in Union Square going over bar tools, essential bar tools. So it's not going to be everything that you need, but it's going to be kind of the essential pieces that you can make just about any cocktail with. So we're going to start with how you get your spirits into the drink. You should always measure your spirits. Spirits are, the goal is to have consistency and balance, and although professional bartenders have a lot of experience free pouring and getting precise measurements, most home bartenders don't, and you don't have the gear, the pourers that are going to let you do that. So we use spirit measures. I have a couple here as an example. You only really need, one or two of them. You don't need all the ones I have, but I just wanted to demonstrate them. This is an OXO measuring cup, which is nice because it has all the different measures in it, so you can get a lot of different spirit measures in there. The next is what's called a double-sided jigger. This is an example. This is a 3/4 by 1.5, which is a nice 2-to-1 measurement, but they come in different sizes too. This is a 1 by 1.5. So either, sometimes you want like a couple of different kinds. If you have one of these, you only really need one. And then the last, I'm just going to point out, these are from the UK. They're called spirit thimbles. You can see that they're called that because they kind of look like a thimble. The nice thing about these is these are very, very precise. Sometimes the double-sided jiggers are a little off in their measurement. They might not be exactly 1.5 ounces, for example. These are exact milliliters. And 30 milliliters is 1.01 ounces. So it's pretty close to U.S. measuring standards. If you wanted an ounce, a 30 mil is going to get you where you need to be. Once you've measured your spirits, the next step is going to be mixing them up. So you're going to need a shaker. I have a couple different kinds of shakers here. Let's start with the 3-piece shaker. 3-piece shaker is called so because it is 3 pieces. You have your measuring cup, you have your lid, and then inside is a strainer and the cap. So you don't need a separate strainer if you're using a 3-piece shaker. A lot of people really like them because they're convenient and easy. Some people don't like them because they find that this strainer is a little small and the ice kind of backs up, and then you kind of do that shake, trying to get the last bit of your cocktail out. The next shaker is called a Parisian shaker. This is a 2-piece shaker. Both pieces are metal, and it's kind of a nice way if you want to use a strainer, which we'll get to later, but the glass part of a Boston shaker intimidates you. Sometimes people don't like using glass, especially when you see me using it. You kind of shake it hard. You got to hit the cup to get the top out, and some people get a little worried about using glass, although it's perfectly safe. You'll see just about every single professional bartender, that's the kind of shaker that they use, which leads me to the Boston shaker. Boston shaker comprises of 2 parts. One is glass, one is metal, stainless steel or tin, sometimes called a shaker tin. And using these 2 pieces and a strainer, you can make any drink on the planet. That's why bartenders like it. It's simple, it's convenient, and they don't have like a little cap piece that might end up getting lost around the bar. Depending on what kind of drink you're making, if you're going to use a Boston shaker, if you mix in the glass part, you put your spirits and your ice, and then you're going to take your metal tin and put it on top, and then that's how you're going to shake it. If you're stirring, then you would just use the glass part. So now that you've mixed your drink, you need to get it out of the tin and into your glass. And to do so, if you don't have a 3-piece shaker, also known as a cobbler shaker, you're going to need a strainer. Now, depending on how you've prepared your drink is going to depend on what strainer you use. If it is a shaken drink, you end up with your drink in this half, and we'll do a demonstration on how to use a Boston shaker in another episode. You're going to want to use what's called a Hawthorne strainer. These are 2 examples of Hawthorne strainers. This is made by OXO. It's a really, really nice product, heavy duty. This is kind of what you'd see standard, and it fits over the tin like this. These kind of, the prongs fit over and hold it up. The spring is what holds the ice back when you pour it out. And some people will hold it like this with their finger on this little piece and use that to pour. I prefer to kind of bring my finger forward on it, because what will happen if you have a lot of ice in here and you dump it and that happens, now you have all your ice, your drink, everything is spent. You got to start from scratch. So if you put your finger on the front part, it kind of holds that on. But some people's hands aren't big enough to get around, so that's what that's there for, if you ever wondered. Now, if you stirred your drink, I'll put those back. So now your drink is in here. You've used a bar spoon to stir it. Use what's called a julep strainer. Julep strainer fits nicely right in the glass like that. What you'll find if you tried using one of these, they'll fit. Actually, this one actually is okay. This one might pop out a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, you can see it. You can make it fit, and it works. And if you're only going to get one strainer, get a Hawthorne strainer. But if you want the proper strainer for the mixing glass, that goes in. Bring your finger around front. Pour it. That's going to hold back all the ice. So if you're making a stirred drink, you have your glass here, your ingredients, your ice. You're going to want to use a bar spoon. I have two examples of bar spoons here. I really like this one. This one, when it calls for a measure of a bar spoon, I like using this one because it's the proper bowl size. But I find when you're stirring, so now pretend this glass is filled with ice, it kind of gets caught on the ice, and you'll end up seeing people do this. This is not stirring. This is actually shaking. You're agitating the drink. The goal of stirring is going to be to kind of work around, and as you can see, you can't really get around the cup. So I like kind of the small bowls. There's a couple different styles you'll see around, but this is nice because you can kind of really stir it vigorously, but gently. You're not going to be incorporating any air bubbles or anything in that. That's a bar spoon. And once you're done with your drink, you want to garnish it. Quite often, drinks have a twist, a lemon twist or an orange twist. To do that, you use what's called a channel knife. Here's two examples of a channel knife. This one is just a channel knife. You can see there's a blade there, and you kind of roll it around the citrus. We're going to do a separate piece just on this, so you'll be able to click over to that. But you're going to roll around the citrus, digging that in, and that's going to make a nice long twist. Same thing with this one. This one is a little narrower, so you get a twist. Sometimes this might get a little bit of pith. This one doesn't, and then it also comes with a zester on it. So if you wanted to actually make zest for cooking, it's kind of a double purpose. And then lastly, a towel. It doesn't have to be a professional bar towel, but you're done with liquids, and liquids spill. So always be sure to have, even if it's a paper towel, something around to wipe up spills, so that way your work area doesn't get all kind of nasty and sticky. And there's your bar towel. So there's a nice overview of kind of the essential tools. You're going to need, one or two spirit measures. You're going to need something to mix your drink in. You're going to need something to strain your drink, something to stir your drink, and something to garnish your drink. And that should get you 90% by. There's tons of other tools. There's juicers, there's ice crushers, and they're all great. But if you're just getting going, these are the things that you're going to want to pick up first. So there's a bar tool essential overview. Thanks a lot.